going up Inside Out? How are y'all today? That is what I like to hear. I love the energy in this room. Well, my name is Carter, and if it is your first time here, I would just love to welcome y'all. And if y'all have been to Inside Out before, I would just like to say, welcome back. We have an amazing afternoon planned for y'all, starting off with one of my personal favorite games, going into a couple announcements, and then my really good friend, Nate Martin, will be up here for part 2 of our series, Before I Go. So with all that being said, we have a game to play, so everybody stand up and get in a group with your small group. Everybody stand up and get in a group with your small group because we are going to be playing Small Group Riff Off. Woo! One of my personal favorite games. While y'all are grouping up with your small groups, I'd just like to throw it out there. Hot take of 2023. I think Spotify is a whole lot better than Apple Music. If you agree with me, cheer, because Spotify is so much better. Spotify is way better, says Jackson Arno. See, we got the freshman guys over here, sophomore guys. Is that junior girls? Junior girls. Sophomore, freshman girls over there. Sophomore girls, junior guys, senior girls. Where's the senior guys at? Senior guys. There we go. Getting all our groups. Seniors, should we start with you or should we start with the freshmen? Freshmen? Should we start with the seniors or the freshmen? I'm hearing more seniors than freshmen, mainly from Delaney. I think I'm gonna start with the seniors. It's easy, y'all get to go with the first word. All right, here we go. Can we get our first word on the screen for the senior guys? Night. Night. Y'all are going. Senior guys, night. Senior guys, Bennett. Okay, that's fine. Over here. Boom. They are cut off already. What? No. Y'all didn't sing anything. Gia made like 2 noises. Junior girls, y'all are out. I know they combined. They need to... Okay, can we get a new word? We're going to go right here in the middle. Okay, over here. Three, two, one. Okay, we're gonna start over here with the freshman guys for this and then going to the senior girls next and then back to the guys. Sophomore guys, y'all look like freshmen. Can we get a new word on the screen? Love. Sophomore guys. Perfect. Senior girls. Senior girls, they haven't gone yet. There we go. Guys right here. There we go. There you go. Over here. That's a good one right there. Down in the middle. I love that song. Over here, back to the sophomore guys. They just sang your... Oh. Y'all didn't think of another one? Always got to think of 2. Out. So are we at the senior girls? Can we get the next word on the screen, please? You. Okay. I don't know that song. Yeah, you got it. I love that song. There we go. There we go. Down here in the middle. There we go. Back to the senior girls. All of you. I love that one. Day to you. I don't know that one, but that's good. Down the middle. Okay, senior girls. Guys. Giving up on you. Down the middle. Ooh, this is good. Seniors, girls. Okay. It's your? You are, guys. Y'all are up. 3, 2. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Down the middle. Okay, senior girls. Yeah, no, they did that. Oh, senior girls are out. You are cut off. You are cut off. Okay, from the senior girls, we've gone to the guys. So the guys with the next word on the screen. Happy. Girls. Okay. That's okay, no, that's okay. Yeah, but that's a new word, new round. They're good. There you go, guys. They just did that. They just sang happy birthday. Oh, the guys have sold. The guys have sold. What are we down to? They are combined, but they all have to sit down. You got the freshman girls and the sophomore girls. Okay, we're starting with the sophomore girls with the new word. Take. Yep, there you go. Middle. Okay, over here. I like that one. Down the middle. They did that song. They did that. They did that as their first song. We have a winner with the sophomore girls. Y'all are going to be going home with a small group BJ's gift card. So y'all can go and have your small group and your small group leader take you out to BJ's because y'all are going to have a small group outing at BJ's. Y'all are going to have so much fun. With all of that being said, we have a couple announcements, and that announcement is, I think we should get a drum roll. We should build up the suspense for this announcement because this announcement is so good. So why don't y'all start patting your laps, get that drum roll going on. And that is that next week on Sunday, we are going to have Inside Out live. The band is going to be here, and they are going to be playing some very good songs. You are not going to want to miss this day. You're going to want to bring all your friends, invite all your friends, because there's one more thing that is happening on Sunday. It is arguably the best news that you are going to hear for the next 3 months, and that is Camp 75 registration opens up next Sunday. Give a hand for Camp 75. I am so excited. And if you are wondering what Camp 75 is, we have a little promo for you. So take a look at this video and enjoy.
Summer is right around the corner, which can only mean one thing. Camp 75 is almost here, and we could not be more excited. Camp 75 is not as much an event or a moment as it is a movement. It's a gathering of people of all ages intent on loving our community in unexpected and inspiring ways, intent on showing our city that someone is for them. For a week in June, hundreds of students will come together for the best week of the year at boot camp. While making lifelong memories and relationships and having an incredible time doing it, they'll be empowered and equipped in order to love our city for a whole week in July. During the week of Camp 75, kids, students, and adults will come together to provide a 75-minute experience intent on communicating how loved and valuable our neighbors are. During one of the 3 time slots each day, we'll be partnering with nonprofits and service organizations all over our city to meet the tangible needs of our community. Whether you're a student and want to be a part of Camp 75, if you're an adult and want to partner with the next generation as a host home or driver, or if you have kids that can attend Camp 75 in July, head over to camp75.org to get all of your information. This summer, let's come together and show our community that we are for them as we continue to love big and dream even bigger.
Y'all give it up for Camp 75 just one more time. That is what I like to hear. Y'all are seriously not gonna wanna miss this week, and you're not going to want to miss boot camp either. So invite all of your friends, have those friends, invite their friends, because everyone is going to have a blast, and you do not want to miss that. With all that being said, we are going to have Nate Martin up here for part 2 of our series, Before I Go.
Y'all ever have those moments? Great to be with you guys. Y'all ever have those moments where you're in big crowds and you get goosebumps? See, for me, as most of you guys know, like I'm a student at the University of Texas at Austin, which means I get the incredible privilege of going to Longhorn sporting events, Longhorn football games in particular. I get it. And my favorite thing, the thing that gets me so fired up, is this sound right here. Yeah, oh, I get it, the hissing, it's all good. You guys are fans, it's all good. But I love the Texas Fight chant because it's 100,000 people all just screaming at the same time for the same thing, and it's just Longhorns football. I think it's incredible. And I love Longhorn sports. It makes me a little bit sad that I don't get the chance to watch them play right now. But I love Longhorn sporting events and all sporting events in general for that exact reason. It brings everyone together for everybody on the field. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're young or old, poor or rich, Democrat, Republican, none of it matters. It's all out the window. The only thing that matters is the players on the field and supporting Longhorns football or whatever it is. Maybe for you it's Rouse High School football or Vista Ridge High School football, whatever it is. I love those moments. And I love those moments in life where everybody is just together behind something, in unity with something, in solidarity with something. And we get to see those moments all throughout our lives. Maybe another one that you resonate with a little bit more is concerts. See, yesterday I got the chance to go to 2 concerts, both of them put on by Bucks, one at UT, one at A&M. You got any Noted fans in here or any Saint Motel fans in here? Yeah, no, I don't know. Never heard of them either until then. But anyways, this is the greatest place on earth, the Texas Bucks House over on West Campus, and this was our concert last year. But concerts are one of those moments too, right? We're all singing together. We're all in unity with one another. The only thing that matters is the band that's on stage, that's performing. Or maybe another example of us coming together in solidarity and unity with one another is the Pledge of Allegiance. And so, we all do this every single day. We all stand up and say the pledge. I do want you guys to know, like as Texas people, I want you to know that it is weird that y'all do the Texas Pledge, or I guess we do the Texas Pledge. I'm not from Texas, I'm from Chicago, and so when I moved here, I thought I was so cool for not doing the Texas Pledge. I was like, man, y'all are so weird. Who does that? Like that, I would like stand there with my arms by my side thinking that was cool. And reality is now, I'm like, yeah, Texas is the greatest place on earth. Of course we have our own pledge, it's because we're the best, and everybody else doesn't have one because they're lamer than us. But anyways, this Pledge of Allegiance is something that we all do, or I guess I don't have to do this anymore in college, but everybody does this in high school, right? Every single day. But at the end of the day, all of these things are just displays of unity in our day-to-day lives. We're just united with one another. And I think it's important to recognize that unity is hard. Unity is one of those things that we struggle with, and unity is going to be the topic of today's message. But I just want to take a second to recognize that it is easy to just fall into the division, to just fall into everybody having their own agenda, having to get their own way with everything. I think we're going to take a quick look at a couple examples of disunity that have pulled together organizations, or pulled apart organizations. So the first one I have, of course, is the Dallas Cowboys or the Texas Longhorns. And this is just every single year. Every single year, they have all the talent in the world, everything's going great, and it all falls apart because they just can't get behind the mission. They can't be united. They can't have their chemistry all going at the same time. And so it always ends up falling apart, and they end up being disappointments, and they undersell themselves every single year. Another example, of course, well, maybe not of course, but another example historically is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was the largest empire in the world at the time. It controlled basically all of the Western world, and it fell apart just simply due to political infighting, just due to people wanting to get their way, basically just fighting over who wanted to be in charge. And the Roman Empire fell apart. Another example of disunity falling or tearing apart an organization is the church. And when I say the church, I mean the Big C church, right? The global church, the church globally, not just like North Point, Austin. But The first schism in the church was in 1054 AD. So that was the first big division in the church. And we've been fighting in the church for 1,000 years since then. And now we have over 30,000 denominations. And that's just crazy to me sometimes to think about how disunited even the church can be at times, even though we choose or we say that we want to fight for unity as the church. But on the other hand, on the flip side of that, all these examples of things falling apart because of a lack of unity, we also know that unity can make things incredible. Incredible things can happen when we do choose to be united. The first thing, of course, that comes to mind for me is sports comebacks. Like every single comeback. The biggest one I can think of is the Falcons come back from a 28-3. I think it was like the 2017 Super Bowl against the Patriots or whatever. And they came back and they beat the Patriots. But I think every single time there's a sports comeback of any kind. What? Oh, well, the Patriots were winning 28-3. And the Falcons were winning 28. Yes, thank you, Ian. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for the correction. Anyways, but all sports comebacks, when people come back, they choose to be united in their mission of winning a game. They come together, and they're able to make incredible things happen. I also think of like the civil rights movement, or all kinds of civil rights movements all across the world, not just here in America, but figures like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, these people who brought together millions of people of all races, of all backgrounds, and brought them all together to just fight for justice, to fight for what was important to them. And we've seen incredible things come out of the civil rights movement as well. Or another good example, just like the church has been a good example of disunity, the early church, capital C church, was a great example of positive unity as well. We read in the book of Acts that the disciples shared everything they had. It was like they were one. They were completely united in everything that they did. And so we see these examples of disunity tearing people apart and causing failure and collapse, and unity pulling people together and creating incredible things. And it just makes us pause and wonder, why can't we do unity right? And the truth is, like I said earlier, unity is hard. It's easy to succumb to our pride. We all have our own agenda. We all have the way we want to get things done. We all have something that we have in mind for whatever it is, whether it be our relationships with the people in our lives, or the organizations that we're a part of, or the sports teams that we're a part of, or the church that we attend. We all have our own plans and our own agenda for everything that we're involved in. And it can be scary to step out of our own plans and fight for unity, because then we kind of have that thought of, well, what's going to make me stand out? Where does my pride fit into this? How am I going to be the star of the show? And it can be scary to fight for unity sometimes. It can be intimidating. And so we know that unity can create incredible things, and we also know that our pride can hinder us from stepping into unity with one another. So today we're going to take a look at what Jesus says in the garden. We're in part 2 of our series, Before Our Go, which means we're just looking at the things that Jesus says were important to him before he was crucified and went up to heaven a few days later. But so we're taking a look at some of the things he said, and one of the things that he prayed for in the garden before he died was unity. And so let's remember that he's about to be crucified, right? I mean, we're talking one of the most painful deaths you can possibly imagine. He's going to have to walk miles and miles and miles carrying his own cross that they're going to nail him to until he suffocates to death. So he's moments away from his death, and he knows this. He knows that this is coming. And I don't know what you guys would pray for before you die. Maybe for me, I would pray that Arch Manning would be the truth and we would actually win something. Or maybe I'd pray for my family or my friends or just the people around me, that everyone would be okay without me. But what Jesus prays for, he starts off this way. He says, after he gets done praying for his disciples, he says, "My prayer is not for them alone. I also pray for those who will believe in me through their message." Now I want to pause real quick, because I think this is really important to point out. If you choose to put your faith and trust in Jesus, he is praying for you right now in this moment in the garden. He's praying for you. This isn't some past group of people. This isn't some group of people that none of us know about. This is you. He is praying for you in this moment, because he's praying for all believers at all times, past, present, and future. So he takes this moment to pray for all believers, and here's what he prays for them. He prays, "My prayer is not for them alone. I also pray for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and you in me, so that they might be brought to complete unity." So in this moment, before Jesus is about to die, he prays for unity. I can just imagine if Jesus is praying for unity right before his brutal, painful crucifixion, how powerful of a tool for disunity and chaos, or for how powerful of a tool for chaos disunity must be and division. How powerful that must be that Jesus thinks that it's important that he prays against those things right before he goes to the cross. It's important to him that he prays that believers might be united with him and the Father, that we might be with Jesus like he is with the Father, right? Because when we're with Jesus, we are able to fight better for unity with the people around us. And he's also praying that we would be united with one another. He prays right here that we would be like one, like we would be like one unit. And so maybe for those of you who aren't Christians in the room right now, you're thinking to yourself, man, it would be great if Christians actually did this, right? And we see so many examples all the time of Christians constantly falling into disunity with one another, constantly falling into division with one another, always trying to pursue their own agenda. But man, it would be great if Christians would pursue true unity like Jesus is seeming to call believers into right here in the garden, to be united with the Father and united with one another. I guess whatever, or being united with the Father, being united with Jesus, and that's what Jesus is praying for in the garden. That would be great if people did that. And so he continues on. I think this is important. He says, he gives us the why behind why he wants us to be united. He says, then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. See, our unity is evidence of God's love. It's a testament to what God has done for us already. And people will know Jesus. People will know the love that God has for them based on how well you are reunited with one another. And this matters because united purpose builds unity. When we're united in purpose, we're able to better walk in united action with one another. See, I used to be the captain of the Vista Ridge football team. And sometimes I would be asked to give speeches to the team. And twice I had to give this speech on unity and teamwork. And some of you might remember this speech. But both times I gave a speech on unity, I talked about one animal in particular. I talked about ants. And I talked about ants because I love this idea of these tiny little bugs. These are like, obviously, you could step on 100 of them with one stride, right? But these tiny little bugs can lift objects that are thousands of times their weight because they all just choose to work together. They don't ask questions, they don't fight, they don't bicker, they don't complain. They just work together because they know that that's what they need to do as a colony, right, in order to survive. And so I gave this speech as the captain of a football team, and it kind of became a rallying cry for our team. We were like, ants, ants, ants. We wanted to be like ants. Now, we weren't very good. We were 4-6, so maybe it didn't work out super well. But I still think that there's incredible value in ants and what ants are able to do. Now, I do want to recognize, though, I do want to take a second to recognize that this can sound a little demeaning. It can sound like I'm asking you to walk mindlessly into unity, and I don't think you guys should be mindless in your unity whatsoever. I don't think it should just be, oh, we're all just going to drone around taking orders. In fact, I think mindful unity is the best type of unity, when we're united in our purpose and we all make the individual decision to fall behind what our mission is, what our purpose is. It's incredibly effective. See, unity is not uniformity. Unity is not every single person thinking and doing the exact same thing. Unity is everyone choosing to say that we're going to be together, that we're going to fight for relationship with one another, that we're going to walk in life with one another so that the world will know. Because the purpose of our unity is so that the world will know. If united purpose builds united action, then it's important that we remember our purpose, which is that people will know that they have a Father, a loving Creator who desires relationship with them, who wants what's best for them, who is for them. And so when we're able to recognize our purpose of unity being so that the world will know, we'll walk better in united action, with not just in the church, not just in this church building, with the people in our lives, right? And we'll fight for unity in our relationships, in our family, in our organizations, in our sports, and all the things that we're involved in. And so today I want to look at a couple practical tools that we can use to better fight for unity in our lives. And I want you guys to know that this is not just for Christians. I know we're using the Bible verses as kind of the basis for this. We're using the why behind our unity being so that the world will know. But unity is effective everywhere. Unity makes a difference everywhere. When we walk in unity with one another, we're able to achieve incredible things and build deeper relationships with the people around us, which is, I think, is something we all want. We all desire stronger relationships with the people around us. So as the basis for how we're going to go through some practical tools that we can use, I like to look at a verse from Romans where Paul says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. So the how behind our unity is living at peace with everyone. Well, what does that mean? How can we live in unity with one another? How can we be at peace with one another? I like that word peace, not fighting, not being full of division or hatred, but loving one another, being peaceful with one another. How can we do that? Well, maybe the first thing you need to do is start thinking about practicing more empathy. Maybe taking the moment to walk in someone else's footsteps. And I know Jen talked about this at My Life a few months ago, right? But what would it look like for you to say, man, I don't know what that person's background is. I'm gonna trust and I'm gonna have empathy for that person and think about where they might be coming from instead of making a lot of assumptions and making it all about you and your own pride. And maybe for you, that looks like asking them their story. See, we were at the intern retreat a couple weeks ago for Camp 75, and I love that at the intern retreat, almost half of our time was spent just asking each other our stories, just telling each other our stories. When you're able to hear someone's story, you're able to know so much more about where they came from. And so maybe, and it allows you to practice better empathy and walk in unity with those people. So maybe for you, you need to take 20 minutes this week. Maybe you need to ask someone to coffee. Hey, will you just tell me your story? Maybe you need to ask your parents your story, or your siblings your story, or your small group. Just get to know where they're coming from, what God has done in their lives, and be encouraged by what God has done in their lives as well. Maybe for you, it's being intentional in your relationships with others. Maybe it's going beneath the surface. Maybe it's pushing one another towards love, pushing one another towards God, praying for your friends. Maybe it's going below the surface, not just having the lunchtime conversations about gossip or whatever it is, but really leaning into your relationships and getting to know people beyond just the surface level. Or maybe for you, gossip is a problem. Maybe you need to avoid division and divisive conversations. Maybe division is tearing you apart from the people in your lives. And I get it. It is so easy to fall into gossip. We all have a propensity. We all have the desire to want to talk bad about people when we're not there. But reality is division is the basis for disunity. And so for us, it's important as we choose to fight for unity with one another that we go directly to people when we have issues with them. That we say, you know what, it matters to me that I'm gonna be direct with you, that I'm not gonna talk about you behind your back because that harms relationship. That brings chaos and disunity to our relationships. And it matters that I'm gonna fight for unity because I want the world to know the love that God has for me. Or maybe for you, it's having a posture of curiosity instead of a posture of victory in hard conversations. Maybe instead of needing to get your way and win, it's just being curious about the motive behind the other person. Because it's so easy when people do start butting heads, and I promise it will happen. There will be conflict in your life. But it's so easy when that happens to just default to trying to win, just trying to be victorious. I got to get my point across, and I fall into this all the time. But what would it look like for you to instead just have a posture of curiosity, to just know where the other person is coming from, just ask the why behind their action? Maybe for you, if you're a part of organizations, whether it be North Point or organizations outside of this, at school, in your families, it's aligning your purpose. We talked about how purpose is the foundation of unity, so maybe you need to work on building your purpose in the things that you're involved in your life. See, when I was on the football team, I would always get frustrated when people couldn't seem to get behind the plan. They couldn't seem to get behind the purpose. And it always seemed to be something that would pull apart the team. But when everyone's aligned on purpose, it seems that we can do so much more as an organization. So maybe for you, the Big C Church, our mission from Jesus is to love God and to love others. But here at North Point, our mission is to inspire people to follow Jesus. So maybe you need to align yourself with our mission as a church or your mission in the organizations that you're a part of, the sports you're a part of, the families, relationships, dating relationships, whatever it is. Maybe you just need to take the time this week to align your purpose with the people that you're involved in. And I know this is a long list, and there's a lot of things up here, and we could do a message about every single one of these things. And I'm not asking you guys to do all of these things, but I'm just saying take the time this week if you want to fight for unity in your life, if you want to fight for stronger, more intentional relationships with the people in your life, just take this week and just take one or two of these things and choose to fight for them this week. And I know it's difficult. I know it's easy to fall into division. I know that this is hard to do. This takes extra effort. But what would it look like for you to do that this week, to choose to fight for unity? And what I love about the verse from Paul is this part right here where he says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone around you. Unity begins with you. This isn't something that we have to wait on other people to start fighting for. We have the opportunity today to start walking in unity with the people around us. We have the opportunity today to fight for relationship with the people around us. We don't have to wait on others to start doing this. We can start fighting for unity now. And that matters because it's on us. We don't have to wait on anybody else. And with unity comes endless possibilities. If we choose to be united, if we choose to walk in unity with one another, to be intentional in our relationships with one another, there are going to be endless possibilities for us. As an organization in your lives, whatever it is that you're involved in, I'm telling you, things will improve so much. See, for me, since going to college, I don't have nearly as strong of a close friend group of people as I used to have here. I'm starting to kind of figure that out and find my people in college. But when I was in high school, one of the things I liked most about my high school friend group, or the people that I was hanging out with in high school, was it seemed like every time there was an opportunity to serve, anytime there was a need that needed to be met, everyone was ready to just jump in and do it. Everyone was just ready to just go into things together, to just be with one another. I think about a few examples from my time here that a lot of you guys might have been involved in. I think about D group, right? 70 people coming together on a Thursday night. I mean, that's incredible. You have a bunch of high school students choosing to come together to sacrifice a Thursday night to just be together and to be together and fight for unity with one another and just walk in fellowship with one another and grow closer to God. I think that's incredible that people would sacrifice a Thursday night like that. I think about this InsideOut senior night picture, a physical display of unity, having our arms around each other, but everyone's going to different schools. It's a scary period in life. A lot of things are going on. It's overwhelming, but we all chose to just be with one another, just do it together with the people around us, to just say, hey, it matters to us that we're going to be together through this process. I think about Camp 75 walk-ons. I love Camp 75 walk-ons. Here on the right are my two walk-ons I had last year, Jaden and Reed. And these guys are incredible. I'm sure some of you guys got the chance to meet them. They're incredible guys. But what I love about walk-ons is that they have no idea what's going on. They haven't been to boot camp. They have no idea. They just know this looks cool. And it seems like cool things are happening, and I want to be a part of it. I think that's incredible. It's an incredible reflection of what Camp 75 is able to do, that people would be inspired to join us in something like this. But I think it's incredible that they would just say, hey, I'm going to set aside my own desires. I'm going to set aside a whole week of my summer, and I'm just going to jump in on this, even though I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know what the purpose of this thing is, but I'm going to choose to jump in on this. I think walk-ons are incredible for that reason. I think about this number right here, 1956. And no, I'm not talking about the year. I'm talking about the number of people that we served last summer at Camp 75, which is incredible. I know we love to harp on this number, but 2,000 people being served last summer because we all just decided that we're going to come together. We're just going to do something together. We're just going to serve the people around us because unity matters to us. I think about this picture right here, right? 300 students at Camp 75 last year, choosing to go out into our community, choosing to love big and dream big. And I want to invite you guys into that this summer too. I want you guys to invite you guys into the unity that we can have together as a group, to the things that we can do, the endless possibilities we can have if we'll just choose to fight for relationship with one another, to not focus on division, to not lean into the gossip, but just lean in to unity with one another. And that starts with you. Unity begins with you, and you guys have the opportunity to fight for unity this week. You guys have the opportunity to fight for unity the rest of this year. And if we'll choose to be united with one another, if we choose to be together with one another and fighting for our mission, fighting for our purpose, I'm telling you guys, we have incredible potential because the world will know the purpose Jesus gives us for our unity, then the world will know. And that's incredible. That matters. It matters that people know that they have a creator that loves them, that's inviting them into relationship with them. And people will see our relationship with God based on how well we fight for unity with the people around us. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and pray for us. Father, thank you so much for bringing this incredible group of students here tonight. God, they could be anywhere on a Sunday night, but they choose to be here and to just know you more and to walk together with one another. So, Father, I just pray for unity over this group of young men and women, whether that be in their home lives, in the organizations that they're involved in, with their friendships, with their dating relationships here at this church. Father, I just pray that they would be united with one another, that they would be one as you have asked us to be as one, both with you, Father, and with one another. And thank you so much for bringing us together this evening. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, thank you guys. You guys are dismissed.